everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and in today's video we're going to be doing some mood reading to finish out the year. So before I get into the video, please remember to like this video if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. I primarily read fantasy, thriller and romance books and I post videos every Sunday. So as I said, this is going to be a mood reading vlog. There's a few books and a few series that I would like to get to before the end of the year. So the first one I'm hoping to read is The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. I have read the Fairbound series by her and I own all 3 books of this on my Kindle. I bought them when they were all 99p on the Kindle deals, so I can just binge this series and I really want to get this one started and then finish early up in the year. I've heard really good things about this series, actually a lot more good things about this series than the Fairbound series, and I really enjoyed the Fairbound series, so I'm really excited to get to this one. I then have from the library Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. So I have no idea what this one is about, to be honest with you. I really want to give Olivia Blake another go. I did read the Atlas 6 by her a couple of years ago now, and then I tried to read the second book and I just really didn't get on with it. So I think maybe her standalones are a bit more my vibe. So I have no idea what this one's about, but I'm getting FOMO because I feel like everyone's reading Olivia Blake at the moment, so I'm really excited to get to this one. And then I have a romance book, which is Consider Me by Becca Mack. One of my best friends gave this whole series to me to read, so I really need to get on with it. All I know is that it's very emotional. It's like a sports romance, I believe. I don't really want to know too much more than that. I know that she really enjoyed this series and says it only gets better and better with each book. So again, I want to crack on with this series and get this read early in the year. And then finally we have a thriller, which is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I feel like lately I've been reading quite a few thrillers and not really loving them as much as I used to. So I'm going to go back to a sort of author that I know and I love, which is Riley Sager. I think I've got a couple more of his books on his backlist left to read. This one is only short as well. Again, I don't really know too much about this one. I don't really tend to read the synopsis of thriller books. I just kind of go for vibes. This looks like a spooky one. I mean, no idea when it's set, but to be honest with you, on a cold dark evening, I feel like this cover is giving like cold dark evening vibes. So I'm really excited to get to this one as well. So I have read the first book for this reading vlog now, which is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. This one we follow our main character Charlie, and she has just sort of come to the end of experiencing a very tragic event and she just wants to go home to live with her grandma. Goes to university or college, I guess, in America, and her best friend and dorm roommate Maddie is brutally murdered and they don't know who killed her. There's a string of murders over the past 4 years and the killer always takes a tooth as like a memento, and Maddie is the latest in a line of murders, and Charlie really struggles to cope with this and she decides that she wants to go home to live with her grandma for a while. Her parents died in a car accident, I believe about 4 years prior to the start of this novel, and she doesn't want to drive herself home. Her boyfriend Robbie is unable to drive her and her grandma is unable to come and get her, so she puts a sort of like ad up on the ride board. This is set in the 90s, so she puts an ad up saying that she needs a lift from here to here, and she meets a guy called Josh who is driving in that direction just a bit past where she wants to go, and he offers her a lift. Now she obviously doesn't know anything about Josh. They very quickly begin their journey, and essentially this book is about the night of the drive and the sort of events that happen, let's say. Charlie very quickly suspects that Josh could be the campus killer because the police didn't release the information about the missing tooth on all these victims because they didn't want people to recreate the murders. They wanted to know, if you know that information, you are the killer kind of thing, obviously unless you're one of the families that have been informed. And he seems to know about the missing tooth and things like that. She suspects that he's the campus killer. She's an unreliable narrator as well, so she has like, she's a very big movie fan and she has what she calls movies in her mind, where she basically like disassociates and thinks of things that aren't actually happening, and there's events in this book that we think could be these movies in her mind, or are they, did they actually happen, and does Josh play up to this sort of thing. And it's about her essentially trying to work out if Josh is the campus killer, work out what he wants with her. I actually really enjoyed this one. I gave this one a 4-star rating. I really love the very tense atmosphere because like literally within like the second chapter she starts to have these suspicions about Josh, and you're very on edge because you don't know what's going to happen. Obviously everything points to him being the campus killer, but then you think Charlie's not a reliable narrator, so is she just like projecting things onto him? And the twists that this book take, I didn't love the twist, but I did really enjoy like the book, and the reveal at the end shocked me. I really didn't see that coming, and looking back it was kind of pretty obvious maybe. I don't know, if you're a seasoned thriller reader you might have guessed it. I literally gasped when I read the reveal kind of thing. I really enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4-star rating, and I just loved how quick and how suspenseful this was. Like, it's literally set in one night and you just follow them on their journey, all the pit stops that they make and all the twists and turns that the journey take. And I just really enjoyed this one. I did look on Goodreads when I rated it, and this has such a low rating. Like, so many people have given this like 1 star, and I was like, actually really enjoyed it. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this one. It was suspenseful, which is what I want in a thriller. I think I've read a lot of thrillers lately that aren't very suspenseful, and this is what I wanted. I wanted suspense. Like, I was on the edge of my seat reading about this drive that they were on, and like I was fearing for Charlie's life, and then I was sort of thinking, like, is Josh actually as bad as she makes out, and you can't trust anything she says. And I just really loved this. Like, if you want a tense suspenseful thriller that is quick and action packed, you will love this book. And I'm really excited to read like the rest of Riley Sager's books. I really enjoy him as an author. I know he gets like a lot of flack, but I actually really seem to enjoy him. So, you know, maybe he's not for everyone, but he's definitely for me, I think. And I really love this one. I was just a bit shocked at like the number of 1-star ratings on Goodreads that this had. I do think the very ending of this, like the sort of the epilogue, I guess, I didn't love that, and I can see why people didn't like that, but the rest of the book I really enjoyed. Like I said, it was so tense, so suspenseful, really well written, and just really loved this one. So I'm glad I've gotten to this one. And actually, this is a recent addition to my physical TBR as well, so I'm glad I've got this one read pretty quickly. But yeah, really enjoyed this one. I've started the next book for this reading vlog, which is The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi. So I'm not sure if where I am at in this book is a great place to check it in, but I've just gotten to part 2. I think I'm about 25% of the way through this book. I can't quite remember where I left it. I've got this one on my Kindle. So this is the first book in a fantasy trilogy by Sarah L. Arifi. So this society is based on blood, and which colour your blood runs is where you are in the society. The lowest of the low are the clear bloods, which are also known as the ghostlings. We don't know too much about what happened 400 years ago, but 400 years ago there was a rebellion against the ruling class, and the ghostlings, the clear bloods, were the ones who rebelled. And in punishment, ever since then, every time a ghostling baby is born, they have their hands cut off and also their tongue cut off, and they adapt things for the ghostlings to use. So for example, they have, like, the kettles have certain straps that they can attach to their forearms for the tea and things like that, and they are basically the lowest of the low. They obviously can't speak because they've had their tongues cut out, but they communicate with sign language, which not a lot of the ruling class can be bothered to learn. So we follow one of these, which is Hassa. We haven't really had too much from her perspective yet. I think she's going to become more of a part of the story now that one of our other characters is kind of more involved with her. So I'll come back to Hassa in a minute. But then the other 2 blood types are blue bloods and red bloods. Blue bloods are the next in society. They are the dusters. So it's illegal for them to be able to read and write and things like that, and they're just slightly above the ghostlings, still looked down upon by the red bloods. The red bloods are the ruling class, the elite. They run the society. So we have these 4 wardens who are all red bloods who rule the society, and every 10 years the wardens are replaced by people who have competed in trials to become their like apprentices essentially, and then they kind of swap over every 10 years. So our main character, who I think it's pronounced Scylla, she is actually a red-blooded baby, but she was raised under the blue bloods. So 20 years prior to the start of this novel, there was 12 red-blooded babies and 12 blue-blooded babies were swapped. So I think they wanted to raise the blue bloods as the red bloods and vice versa, so that they could see how unequal society was, and when they got older, rise up and rebel. However, the red bloods did catch on to what had happened, and it's believed that all the blue bloods that were swapped with the red bloods are dead, and the current only surviving red blood who was raised as a blue blood is Scylla. However, we quickly learn that another red-blooded baby has survived, but also a blue blood raised as a red blood has also survived, and that's our other character, who has kind of only just recently come into it, but she is the daughter of the Warden of Strength, but she's obviously not the blood daughter because she was swapped. So her mother, the Warden of Strength, detests her. She knows exactly sort of like who she is, but she won't admit what's happened because that's going to be a sign of weakness. So she raised this girl and just detests her every being, and those are the 3 characters. And we've got to the point where, so the ghostling, Hassa is friendly with Sylar. The Ghostlings and the Blue Bloods, kind of the Dusters, sort of mixed together, and they know exactly who each other is. We've gotten to the point where Sylar she wanted to meet her maternal mother, and she's gotten to the point where she's kind of infiltrated the red-blooded child that she was swapped with. They're now helping each other out, let's say. So this blue blood who's hiding as a red blood, she's very weak in comparison to the other red bloods, and she needs Sylar's help to pass these trials, and in return she will help Sylar with her powers. We sort of haven't really explored the magic system or like that sort of thing too much, but there's a thing called blood work. So the Ghostling is Hassa, red blood raises a blue blood is Sylar, and the blue blood raises a red blood is Anor. So Sylar and Anor are working together sort of rather begrudgingly to help Anor pass these trials to become the next Warden of Strength. Now she is obviously very weak at blood work because she is blue blooded, she doesn't actually possess these powers. They're working together to kind of get Anor to pass these trials. So we're on the countdown to the very first trial, and there's like quite a few trials that they have to pass, and I don't know if maybe Sylar is going to go back on this agreement, and I'm not quite sure how Hassa is going to become a bit more of a key player in this plot. But obviously Sylar and Hassa are now both working in like, it's not the palace, but they're working in like the red section. So the land is sort of split, so like the reds have all the nice areas, the blues have some like the ramshackle areas, and the Ghostlings basically have nothing. So they're kind of working in the red section together, and then I guess the three plot lines are gonna mix even more. It's a lot more complicated I think than I'm making it sound. I'm struggling to like summarize what's happened, but essentially it's a very rich magic system that I'm hoping that we're going to explore a bit more as we go on. So like I said, I'm really enjoying this one so far. It's a lot of setup, and I'm really having to pay quite a bit of attention to who all the characters are, where exactly they are fitting. And there's also a part where Sylar has found a map of this empire, and there's actually other lands around it that she never knew existed, and Anor sees the map as well and is sort of like, this map's wrong because we're the only land. The other lands were destroyed. So I guess we're going to explore that as well, which I'm really intrigued about. I'm just intrigued as to how the plot on the mainland is going to go with these three girls, and how is Anor going to become the next Warden of Strength? Has Sylar got something up her sleeve? How does Hassa fit into all of this? I'm really intrigued because I mean, as a society you can't surely think that you're keeping people in line by like cutting off their limbs and their tongues and thinking, oh yeah, they're not going to rebel again. Like, it's obvious they're gonna, you know, every fantasy book the oppressed are always rebelling, and like you are never going to stop them because you treat them so badly. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go. I'm really enjoying it so far. I think I'm going to check back in when I'm a bit further through, maybe sort of about 70% of the way through, when we've developed more of the plot, and see where we are going to go. I am really liking this one so far. It's such a strong start to this series, and I can see why people say that this series is stronger from Sarah L. Arifi than the Faebound trilogy, which I'm really enjoying. I think I seem to be in the minority with that trilogy. I actually really enjoy it. So if this is going to be better, then I'm so excited as to where we are going to go with it and the journey we're about to go on. But yeah, I'm really loving this one so far. I'm excited to get back to it and dedicate some more time in my day to this and crack on with it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far. Would highly recommend. I love the writing style. Like I said, it's a very complex world, but the way that we're sort of slowly unraveling how this world works and all the mysteries surrounding it is really well done. The characters are all really interesting. Like, we've mainly been following Sylar so far with a little bit of Hassa, and then I think Anor is obviously playing a bit more of a part now, and I'm really interested to see how these three girls are going to either work together, work against each other, what's going to happen with them. But they're all such really interesting characters in their own right, and I think I'm just so excited to carry on. So I'm going to get back to reading and check back in with you guys when I'm about like 70% of the way through. I'm now 75% of the way through the final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi, and I'm still really enjoying this one. So the plot has definitely developed a lot more since I last checked in, when I was about 30% of the way through. So two of our characters are still sort of highly mixing in the plot, and then we've got Hassa, who's kind of on the side. I'm getting a little bit more about what she's up to, her background, that sort of thing, and I'm really hoping that towards the end of the book, or maybe in the next book, that we develop her a little bit more and see what she's up to and her people, the Ghostlings, are kind of going through. I mean, we know a little bit about what they're going through, but we don't don't know all the details about her life and like what she's doing. She disappears a lot, and there's sort of some hints about sort of her background, but we don't know anything solid yet. And then Honor and Sila, they're kind of conflicted as to what they've been raised to believe, whether that's actually right or not. So obviously Honor has been raised to believe that the Red Bloods are superior, and the way that her mother treats her is awful. Like, she calls Honor a maggot because she believes that she's below her because she's a blue blood. She's really starting to question everything that she's been led to believe. Like, she witnesses a ripping in the Duster district, which is essentially a form of punishment where the Duster or the blue blood is tied down and they just essentially like, just stretch them out until they literally rip open. She had no idea this was even happening. She believed that everybody had a fair trial and things like that. So her sort of worldview is really opening up, and she's starting to question her loyalties, and Sila's also starting to question hers, in the fact that so she's part of the final strife, the 12 swapped babies, and the rebel group that she was a part of, I think it's the Sandstorm, they disappeared and now they're back, but they're under new leadership and they don't quite trust Sila. But Sila also doesn't quite trust them. You know, she's having to prove herself over and over, and the things that they are doing or wanting she doesn't quite believe in, and she maybe thinks that instead of letting John, who's one of the other swapped babies, win these trials, maybe Honor should win. She's not sure who would be better placed to essentially help her people. So we've got a lot of like politicking, a lot of conflict going on like internally, not like a big war or anything like that, but just conflicts that each character's facing. And I'm really hoping that we're obviously going to wrap up these trials near the end of the book, I hope, and then the sort of apprentices are chosen, so we'll see what happens in the next few books. But I'm really enjoying this one. It's really well written, just so well done, and yeah, I'm just absolutely loving it, and I'm really excited to get back into the book and finish it out this morning, so hopefully I can get that done. But yeah, really loving this one. Just such a really unique fantasy world as well. Actually, I haven't read anything quite like this for quite a long time, so really enjoying it. So I'm going to crack on finishing that, and then I'll check back in with you guys when I'm done. So I have now finished reading The Final Strife by Sarah L. Arifi, and I really enjoyed this one. I'm going to give this one a 4-star rating. I think that this is a really solid start to a fantasy trilogy. This is also her debut book as well, and I think it was a really solid debut too. I think that the pacing was really good in this. We had enough reveals to keep us interested, but not too many reveals that we won't be continuing. I'm really intrigued as to where the rest of this series is going to go. I really think we're going to open up the scope of this world and this magic system as well. We had quite a few reveals at the end as to the wider world and some mysteries as to some of the people in this book as well, and it was just really well done. I'd highly recommend this series if you haven't already read it. I'm definitely going to be continuing this series as soon as I possibly can. And yeah, now on to the next book for this vlog. So I have an update regarding the next book for this vlog, which is Masters of Death by Olivia Blake. I wanted to try this author again. I had read the Atlas 6, the very first book in that trilogy, and then I never carried on, and I wasn't really interested enough to reread it and continue, so I thought I would try one of her standalone books and see what I think of her. And unfortunately I am going to be DNF in this one. I only got maybe like 20 or 30 pages into this one. I just really don't like her writing style. I think maybe pretentious isn't the right word, but it's very complex and very overwritten. I think it feels like there's just a lot of complicated words for the sake of complicated words kind of thing, and it's just really not to my taste. I don't mind description and things like that, but I just think I was reading this and I just didn't understand what half of what she was saying even meant. I just don't think she's for me, unfortunately, and that's such a shame because I do really like the concepts of her books. Like, I was really interested in One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake as well. Like, the whole concepts of her books really intrigue me. The execution and her writing style I just really don't think is for me. I'm glad that I gave this one a go, and I got this from the library, so it's no loss on my part really, and I gave it a go, and I've realised that she is just not for me, and that's okay. There's plenty of authors out there who are for me, so I'm glad that I gave this one a go, but it's just I can't force myself through it when I'm sort of 20 pages in and I'm like, no, not for me. And I know that a lot of people kind of feel the same way. They're very hit or miss, her books, or really a lot of misses, but I know that she's also quite a popular author, so I don't know how the two things are really in tandem. Maybe her fans are really big fans, I don't know. But yeah, she's unfortunately not for me, so I will not be trying any more of her books, even if the summaries sound like my thing, because they do sound like my thing. She's just not for me, unfortunately. So that is a DNF for this one, which is unfortunate, but oh well, at least I've made a decision about this author now. So now on to the final book for this vlog, which is Consider Me by Becca Mack. I have started the final book for this vlog, which is Consider Me by Becca Mack. So in this one we follow Carter and Olivia. So Carter is a NHL player. He's the captain of the team. He earns £13 million a year, as he loves to tell everyone. And Olivia is his teammate's girlfriend's best friend. So they are aware of each other, but they've never actually really met. And they go to this party and they meet each other there, and Carter is instantly like in love with her. So he is a massive playboy. He picks women up. He has a condo specifically to take these women back to, because he doesn't want to take them back to his own home. He's very much a playboy, and she's not that kind of girl. She doesn't do one night stands or anything like that, and he is instantly attracted to her. Now she thinks that he's only really attracted to her because she said no and she's not interested in him, and he basically falls head over heels for her. Like, he is insane, like puppy dog energy around her. Like, she just breathes and he's like, oh my god, you're so amazing. Now I am enjoying this one. The first like 130 odd pages were like 5-star material for me. He was absolutely head over heels with her. He was going to change his ways, blah blah. I was loving the direction this went. I'm finding that the like some of the things that are being said and like the intimate scenes are just a bit cringy, and like he has a name for his down below area and he keeps referring to it, and I'm just like, please stop doing that. Like, for me that's just like instant ick. Like, it just there's a bit of like back and forth, on and off between them. Essentially he is trying to change his ways in order for her to give him a chance, but she is really not interested if he's not. She wants a relationship and he doesn't do relationships, but he's willing to give it a go, but she doesn't want to sort of go all in unless he's like really committed to it. So this one is really good so far. I'm just over 300 pages in, so I've only got like just about 200 pages left. I have to say, these are so long for romances. Like, I am really enjoying it, and I am enjoying this book. It just like, it was 5-star material, and now it's kind of gone down a bit in my estimation, just because like it's just a bit cringy in some places. And I feel like, how can a romance book be this long, really? So I feel like, is it going to start getting a bit repetitive? Are we going to have like the same conflict over and over? Because like they have fallen out a few times over this whole thing, and like you can see he's really trying to change his ways, give this relationship a go, and she's quite hesitant in some parts, which is understandable, because like, you know, up until this point he has been a complete and utter playboy, and you know, like he even took her to the condo where he just literally has like a bed and a load of condoms, and it really like upsets her. She gets really upset about something, and like she says no to him about something, and then his immediate response when they've like just split is to just go home with another girl. And then he does change his mind, but like obviously that really upsets her, because like that's his first instinct, is always to just go and pick up another girl. So this one, I am enjoying it so far. I do think they are really sweet together as a couple. Like, I am really liking them together. I just don't think I really like Carter all that much as a person on his own. I do think he flaunts his wealth quite a bit, which is like, you know, if you're earning all that money, like good for you, you do what you want, but like, do you really need to tell every single person that you meet that you earn £13 million in a year? It's just a bit unnecessary. Olivia's really sweet, because he definitely is changing. He's like, he likes to show his love through acts of service. So like, her boiler or like her furnace breaks and she's absolutely frozen, and he comes over and she hasn't told him about this, and the next day he's arranged for a replacement, and like he doesn't want her to pay her back or anything like that. And I do like that she wants to stay completely independent. She doesn't want him to be like, she doesn't want to be reliant on him, essentially. So I am liking them together, and I'm really interested. Like, I am liking their character storylines and like the story arc, where we're going, and their personal character arcs kind of thing. I'm just a bit worried this is going to get a little bit repetitive, because I'm kind of thinking, you know, we're 300 pages in, like, are we going to start wrapping this up now? But we've got like another 200 pages of potential like conflict, maybe. I don't know. So we'll see what happens with the latter bit of this book. So far I am really enjoying this one. I'm glad I'm finally gotten to it, because like I said, my friend lent me this ages ago and has recommended this to me. So I am really enjoying it so far. I just find that some of the like the dialogue and some of the terms used are just a bit cringy. He refers to his like down below area as a sword of thunder, and he's like completely serious about it, and every time it gets mentioned I'm just like, this is so cringy. It's so cringy, but I'm really liking the story. I just think I'm just gonna have to overlook those sorts of things just to get through it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far, so I'm hopefully gonna finish this one today, and I'll check back in with you guys when I'm done with it. Hey guys, so I'm just coming in to wrap this reading vlog up. I did finish reading Consider Me by Becca Mack. Now I'm really conflicted on what to rate this one, because I did really enjoy this book. I enjoyed the characters, I enjoyed all the side characters, I enjoyed where this story went, but I think this was just way too long and it did get very repetitive. So our two love interests, Carter and Olivia, they sort of get together within the sort of the first 130 pages and then they break up. And then they kind of get together again, and then Olivia has a bit of a crisis in whether Carter is actually a changed man. And then this kind of happens every 100 pages or so, and in like a 500-page book it gets a bit tiring. And even like at the end when they got together, I was kind of like, oh my god, are we gonna wrap this up? Are we gonna wrap this up? But looking back on it, I really enjoyed the story. It was just way too long, and I think this could have been cut down quite a bit. I don't think romance books need to be like 500 pages, because it was just, the middle section was just the same over and over again. So I'm really conflicted on what to rate this, because to be honest with you, this first 130 pages was like 5-star for me, and then we introduced like the cringy dialogue and things like that, so it just really went down in my opinion. But I really enjoyed it, so I don't know what to rate it. I feel like a 3.5 star is too low and a 4 star is too high, so like a 3.75, but I don't really want to get into very specific ratings like that, so I don't know. I've given it a 3 on Goodreads and I've put 3.75, but maybe I'll give it a 4. I don't know. Like, I did enjoy it, and I feel like I'm being quite negative about this book. I did actually really enjoy it. I loved, like I said, I loved all the side characters. I'm really interested to see where the rest of the series is going to go and who we're going to follow. I love Garrett, I love Adam. Like, I really actually want to read Emmett and Kara's story, even though their story was, you know, predetermined prior to this one, otherwise Carter and Olivia would never have met. But yeah, I did really enjoy this one. I'm just, bits of it that I didn't like, I really didn't like, and that's what I'm conflicted on. So I think I'm going to give this a 3.75, but I would still recommend this series. If you like hockey romances, definitely give this one a go. This is definitely a little bit different to the ones that I have read. I've read a lot of Elle Kennedy. I do have a lot of hockey romance on my TBR actually, so maybe I should do a reading vlog, reading only ice hockey romances. But anyway, tangent, back to this one. So yeah, I would recommend it, and I'm definitely going to be continuing on with this series. I'm very excited to continue because like I said, I love the characters. So that is it for this mood reading TBR vlog, which we had a bit of a mixed bag really, but I'm glad I've gotten another 4 books off of my TBR. So comment down below if you've read any of these books. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion. This is my last vlog of the year, so if you're watching this, I hope you had a very lovely Christmas and a happy new year. Please stay around for 2026. We have so much exciting stuff to get through in 2026 and so much exciting reading. Thank you for all the support so far this year and the previous year. I'm currently on just over 100 subscribers, which isn't a lot to some people, but it really means a lot to me, and I really appreciate those of you who do comment on my videos, and every like, every comment, every subscribe really means a lot to me. This is just a fun hobby for me to talk about books that I really enjoy, so thank you for being here. Please remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, and please do subscribe to my channel for more British content, and I'll see you in the next one guys. Bye.